If you grew up playing the Nintendo Entertainment System, then you already know that the classic 8-bitter was home to some major franchises. Yeah, Super Mario Bros., Ninja Gaiden, Castlevania, Contra, and so many more. But of all the NES franchises that are out there, none were more prolific than Mega Man. By releasing a total of 6 games in only 7 years, Capcom all but invented the annualized sequel. In an effort to see how the stories and endings evolved over those 7 years, I think that it's finally time to turn our attention to the Blue Bomber. Turn back now if you don't want to know what happens next, because today we're going to spoil the story and ending for Mega Man 1 through 6 on the Nintendo Entertainment System. This is Game Over, the early years. It's the year 2000X, and automation is everywhere. Humanoid robots have largely taken over the manual labor jobs that were once done by the citizens of Monsteropolis. But like so many science fiction stories, what was originally created for good can be used for evil. In a twist we all saw coming, Dr. Wily decides to reprogram Cutman, Gutsman, Iceman, Bombman, Fireman, and Elecman in a misguided effort to create the 7 empires of Monsteropolis and take over the world. Now, in the Japanese version of the game, one of Dr. Light's helper robots offers to be reprogrammed into a fighter robot in order to take on Dr. Wily. However, here in the West, Mega Man was created by the 2 inventors and not turned evil. Because of that, he's sent out to defeat the 6 robot masters and stop Wily's evil plans. Long story short, Mega Man battles his way through all 6 levels, taking a weapon from each of the bosses. Seeing his plans for world domination in shambles, Wily hops in his spaceship and forces Mega Man to follow him into 4 incredibly tough stages, including one where the Blue Bomber needs to fight all those bosses over again. At long last, Mega Man is finally face to face with Dr. Wily, who feels protected in his large flying ship. Yeah, he probably shouldn't have come in so cocky, because our hero quickly dismantles the ship and defeats Wily. Here's what happens next. A year has passed since the events of the first Mega Man, and Dr. Wily is still stewing over his defeat. Not willing to let it go, the evil doctor constructs 8 new robot masters in an effort to crush Mega Man. These include Metal Man, Air Man, Bubble Man, Quick Man, Crash Man, Flash Man, and Wood Man. And oof, if that wasn't enough, it's also revealed that Wily has built a whole new evil fortress full of even harder obstacles. Man, the guy's clearly been busy over the last 12 months. Of course, Mega Man knows exactly what to do, so he kills the bosses and makes his way through the evil fortress. He manages to defeat Dr. Wily in his flying ship, but something's wrong. That's normally where the ending would go, but the game's not over yet. It's only after our hero falls into a giant pit that he sees the evil doctor transform into a space alien. Oh my god, could it be that aliens have been behind the dastardly plans all along? Is this Earth's first contact? Well, the answer to both of those questions is no. After we defeat the alien, it's revealed that Dr. Wily has been controlling the hologram the whole time. The jig is up, and the criminal inventor pleads for his life. This is what happens next. You know that old phrase, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em? Well, that's exactly what Dr. Wily decides to do in Mega Man 3. After seeing his plans for world domination thwarted in 2 different games, the Doctor reforms his evil ways and begins working with Dr. Light on a brand new project, a peacekeeping robot codenamed Gamma. Unfortunately, things go awry when 8 robot masters break free of their programmed routines and steal Gamma's 8 power crystals. It's up to Mega Man and his robot dog Rush to defeat Magnet Man, Hard Man, Top Man, Shadow Man, Spark Man, Snake Man, Gemini Man, and Needle Man. And to make things even harder, a new masked character named Breakman shows up from time to time in order to slow Mega Man down. Who is this guy? Mega Man defeats the 8 robot masters and discovers that his mission is far from over. In their place are 4 Doc robots who are mimicking the moves and abilities of the prior bosses. It's only after defeating these new bosses that Mega Man will have collected all of the power crystals, which means that the good doctors can finally get back to building that peacekeeping robot. But don't look now, because Dr. Wily once again flips on the good guys and steals Gamma. Oh no, he's trying to conquer the world again. So Mega Man springs into action and tracks Wily down at his new fortress. After platforming through a bunch of tough levels and replaying the bosses, the Blue Bomber gets a chance to take Wily on in his large walking machine. The good news is that this is a relatively easy fight. Unfortunately, the bad news is that this is nothing more than a decoy. The real Doctor is using the once peaceful Gamma robot to clobber Mega Man, but it isn't working. We blow up Gamma once and for all, and this is what happens next. A year has passed since Proto Man saved Mega Man from certain doom, and everything is starting to get back to normal. That is, until Dr. Cossack shows up. This mysterious Russian scientist has taken a page out of Wily's playbook and unleashed a new gang of robot masters on 8 different cities. This means that Mega Man will once again need to polish up his suit in order to take on Toad Man, Bright Man, Pharaoh Man, Ring Man, Dust Man, Skull Man, Dive Man, and Drill Man. Alright, so by this point, Mega Man is a seasoned pro when it comes to defeating these robot masters. So it probably shouldn't surprise you to learn that he cuts through all the newest models just like they're butter. I mean, metal butter. In fact, it's smooth sailing right up to the point where he battles Dr. Cossack in his flying machine. But you see, here's where the twist comes in. Right as Mega Man is getting ready to defeat his newest foe, Dr. Cossack's daughter, Kalinka, shows up and reveals that she was being held hostage by Dr. Wily, who was forcing the Russian doctor to build the robot army. Thankfully, Proto Man saved the day, freeing Dr. Cossack and his daughter. And with all those secrets finally out in the open, Dr. Wily shows up to finish the job himself. Apparently, he already had a flying machine ready just in case things went awry, but it won't be enough because Mega Man once again defeats Dr. Wily, and this is what happens next. Alright, I think we can all agree that Mega Man 4 left us on the biggest cliffhanger yet. Instead of getting his comeuppance, Dr. Wily escapes from his exploding castle and avoids getting captured by Mega Man. Now, 2 months have passed since the last game, and the Blue Bomber and Dr. Light are on high alert waiting for Wily's next evil plot. What they didn't see coming was Proto Man, who surprises everybody with his own set of robot masters and ambitions of taking over the world. And oof, that's not even the worst part, because Proto Man swoops in and kidnaps Dr. Light, forcing Mega Man, as well as a little bird named Beat that was created by Dr. Cossack, to track down his older brother and stop him once and for all. Now, as it turns out, Proto Man's robot army isn't all that different from what we've seen before. It includes characters like Starman, Gravity Man, Gyro Man, Stone Man, Crystal Man, Charge Man, Napalm Man, and Wave Man. Our hero quickly dismantles these bots and heads over to the Proto Fortress, where he expects to battle his brother to save Dr. Light. But a funny thing happens when we get there. He discovers that there are actually 2 Proto Men. Or is that Proto Mans? Either way, there are 2 of them, revealing that the evil one is none other than Dark Man, a new robot created by, you guessed it, Dr. Wily. Man, this is the 3rd time in a row that the evil doctor tries to fool Mega Man. And, you know, it goes about the same as it did last time. We ultimately let Beat the Robot Bird finish Wily's spaceship, and this is what happens next. So, between Dr. Wily's almost unlimited robot army and all those issues related to the Gamma Initiative, you would think that the countries around the world would have banded together in order to outlaw robots. Apparently, they went in a completely different direction, because Mega Man 6 shows us a future where the Global Robot Alliance creates an annual robot tournament to discover who the strongest peacekeeping robot is. Now, as a pacifist, Dr. Light decides not to enter the tournament, but he still instructs Mega Man to go and make sure that nothing weird happens. Unfortunately, he's too late, because the host of the event, Mr. X, drops what I would like to call a massive bombshell on the Blue Bomber. You see, Mr. X explains that he's been the one controlling Dr. Wily all along and has reprogrammed 8 of the strongest contestants to help him take over the world. Look, I don't know what's worse. The fact that this is obviously Dr. Wily in disguise, or how lame the robot designs are this time. Mega Man has to go up against Blizzard Man, Centaur Man, Flame Man, Night Man, Plant Man, Tomahawk Man, Wind Man, and Yamato Man. As always, Mega Man and Rush race off to thwart Mr. X's eerily familiar plans, only to uncover that this new villain is Dr. Wily in disguise. I mean, look, if you didn't see that coming, then I can't help you. This leads to one final 8-bit battle with Dr. Wily, who hides away inside this stomping machine. After 48 Robot Masters, 6 games, and 4 painfully obvious twists, I'm relieved to say that this is what happens next. And that is how the NES series ended, with Dr. Wily in prison after trying to take over the world not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but 6 different times. Ooh, now that's what I call an inefficient legal system. Look, joking aside, I think it's fair to say that the 8-bit Mega Man games had paper-thin stories. I like that they tried to mix things up here and there, but over half of the games involved Dr. Wily trying to trick Mega Man, which never, ever works. But even with the repetitive stories, I do think that Capcom found ways of giving us simple and sweet endings that made the journey worth it. I especially like Mega's walk home in the first game, even though having him turn into a regular boy makes a lot more sense to the Japanese story. I also really like how they showed off the hero's long journey in Mega Man 2 by seeing the seasons change back home. It's an especially nice touch how they tied this into the boss's special abilities. Now, by the time they got to Mega Man 3, it was clear that Capcom was more focused on the overall narrative. I like the bit where Proto Man saves Mega, but I'm disappointed that it amounts to Dr. Light giving us an exposition dump. Mega Man 4 and 5 ditch the dialogue, but allow Wily to get away as his fortress falls. These are very Castlevania endings. The final ending is the one that makes the most amount of sense, but it's also the least interesting. It also has what has to be the single most annoying sound found in the Mega Man franchise. Look, I don't know what the right sound effect is for dialogue, but this is definitely the worst choice. And you know, to have that as the final thing you hear in a Mega Man game for the NES is especially tragic, considering what this franchise meant to the console. Sure, the Blue Bomber would continue battling Dr. Wily on the Super NES, Saturn, and a whole bunch of PlayStations. But some of his best adventures were the ones on the Nintendo Entertainment System. But for now, with Wily finally in prison, I think it's time we give Mega Man some much needed time off. Yeah, he's earned it. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Game Over, the early years. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new episodes almost every Monday. Now here's the question I have for you. What is your favorite Mega Man game? And are you more of an 8-bit Mega Man fan, or do you prefer the 16-bit stuff? Or maybe you're one of those people who likes all the new Mega Man games. Weirdo. Anyway, let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, we'll be back later this week with a review of The Suicide of Rachel Foster, as well as one of the dumbest quizzes I've ever taken. I'm serious. I can't believe this thing exists. If that sounds good to you, then I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,